presentation is RFID Enhancement.
Thank you all for coming. First, let me introduce my team members. This is Cameron Murati. He's the general designer. That's Xiaomi Yu from Trouble for KC, and they're the primary microcontroller programmers. And I'm Warner Krause. I'm the team leader. It's becoming increasingly more difficult for large retailers like Walmart and Target to keep track of their inventory without help. That's why over the past few years, they've started to require their suppliers to attach RFID tags to a large portion of their products. And while that does not include produce or food items yet, it's expected to expand into that once the RFID tags become cheap enough. Well, I mean, we decided to take advantage of that eventuality. So we developed a device that tracks or monitors refrigerator contents and expiration dates, and sends that to an embedded web server and displays it on the internet. So, if you're at the store and you can't remember if you bought milk yesterday, you can just check your smartphone and see what you have in the refrigerator and when those things expire. Our device is composed of three major parts. It has, well, we included our own passive high-frequency transponders because since it doesn't exist yet, we don't have any in the field to take and test with. But we're using high-frequency passive transponders. Our high-frequency, well, 13.56 megahertz transceiver, and an embedded web server, which we'll use to host on the internet. We chose high-frequency because it's a good compromise between low-frequency and ultra-high frequency. Low-frequency has a good ability to penetrate water and metal, but has a very short read range. Ultra-high frequency has a large read range, but can't penetrate water and metal that well. So we chose high frequency. It can penetrate water and metal, which there will be a lot of in our refrigerator, and still has an adequate read range for our application. So basically, what we'll do is program the name and expiration date into the 2K bits of memory in the tag. Transmit that to the receiver. The transceiver, will pick that up and transmit that raw data to our embedded web server. And this is the part we've actually done this semester, is everything from the embedded web server on. And so now we take the information in the embedded web server, we parse that information, and display that in an HTML table on the internet. So that's a general description of our project. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
You went exactly 3 minutes. Questions?
Instead of RFID tags, have you thought about using like a barcode scanner or something?
Well, the whole reason we did RFID was because that's something that's being implemented in our stores in the US to begin with. And barcode scanner, you have to manually scan each item you put in the refrigerator, which would be okay, but the way we have it set up now is to where you can just place things in the refrigerator and you don't have to worry about scanning anything or typing in a name or anything. It's already programmed into the chip, into the tag, so it's kind of easy to find.
Any existing products out there?
We didn't find anything that's this identical thing. We found, the smart cart from a couple semesters ago. I found after some research an idea similar to this that Samsung was looking at. This was like 4 years ago, and I never found anything that it actually, any evidence that it actually exists. So,
how much do RFIDs cost now, and how low do you think they would need to go?
Right now, for the passive tags, it's around 5 cents each, and I've read articles from journals and things that say it should get down to about 1 cent or even less than 1 cent once it becomes more prevalent. So.
And I believe with retailers like Walmart, tagging every item, you'd actually have some of the work done for you.
Well, the whole plan is that the manufacturers kind of put that on there. So
Right.
Yeah, so it helps them, they can just bring in the pallets of items and help the,
Well, from what we found out in our research, Walmart is actually going to require all of their manufacturers to put those tags in. So
yeah, that's part of what I was, explaining, but like I said, it's not part of the produce or food items yet, which we expect to eventually be there, so.
So if you kind of look like, there's in the last maybe 6 months, there have been a couple of incidents where produce was actually found to be contaminated with certain E. coli or something like this, and actually caused death. It's easier maybe if you have a box, like cereal or something like that, to put a tag on. It's harder to put it on an orange or a tomato or something like this. So if you look, for example, let's say eggs. Eggs right now, when you ship things from the farm to the grocery store on those pallets, they'll actually have RFID tags that measure temperature exposure for the entire pallet along the process. So if it's exposed to too much heat, they can reject the entire container of eggs. So are you looking at this for like oranges and tomatoes?
This is for, yeah, individual items. Now, pallets will have their own tags on them anyway. And either way, those are usually ultra high frequency, so we think it would be easy to do in a refrigerator with metal items and water and things. So it's more of an individual item type of thing. Maybe a whole thing of eggs, not every egg, but whole carton of eggs, maybe apples. We each have one. Individual items, in addition to the ones that already exist on pallets and things like that.
Have you asked Cisco about their Qi system? I know Cisco's been working with some companies to do printed RFID in packaging so that it wouldn't be a sticker that you physically have to stick on, it would just be printed in the paper. And they've got it all the way to Campbell's soup, and they've even made, I think, light up cereal boxes. So have you talked to Cisco and looked at that?
No, I've not looked at that specifically. I've seen other applications of like a tattoo type of RFID, other forms that aren't just manufactured on plastics or with those materials. I haven't looked at that directly though. No.
You know if the tags are moisture sensitive? Because, you've got milk a lot of times spilling out, you got moisture, water. Does that mess with the tag at all? No.
Well, we haven't looked into that directly yet. This semester focused mostly on, well, due to a lack of product availability, on the website of it, on everything from after we received the raw tag data all the way to the internet. We haven't looked at that much, but I expect it won't. I mean, there's going to be an issue some way with something. Something spills. I don't think it's something that's necessarily worth worrying about that much. Maybe it is, but we haven't looked into it enough yet.